People often say, what goes around comes around, but in this case, what came around was far more than kindness. It was life-changing. Her name was Elena Cruz, a 29-year-old single mother from a small town in New Jersey. Most days she could barely afford the gas it took to drive to her part-time job at a diner on Route 18. The tips were small, the hours were long, and the burden on her shoulders felt heavier with each passing day. Still, she carried herself with quiet dignity, always making sure her 6-year-old daughter Lily never went to bed hungry or felt unloved. Elena had once dreamed of becoming a schoolteacher. She had the passion, the patience, the kind of soft-spoken wisdom that made children feel safe. But dreams have a way of slipping through your fingers when life throws enough storms your way. Her husband had left without a word when Lily was only 2. Since then, survival became the dream. One rainy Wednesday afternoon, Elena had just finished her shift and was rushing across the parking lot to her old Honda Civic, shielding herself with a plastic bag instead of an umbrella. That's when she saw it, a leather wallet lying just by the back tire of a black Mercedes SUV. She looked around. The parking lot was nearly empty. No one in sight. She hesitated for a second. Then she picked it up. It was soaked but intact. She ducked into her car, drying it off as best she could with a napkin from the glove compartment. Inside, she found a driver's license, several credit cards, and a wad of cash, easily over $1,000. Her heart pounded. That money, it could cover rent, pay off her overdue utility bills, even buy Lily that new pair of shoes she'd been eyeing for weeks. For a fleeting moment, the temptation washed over her like a tidal wave. No one had seen her pick it up. There was no one to report it to. But then she saw the photo on the license. A young man, smiling, with kind eyes. His name was James Whitaker. The address listed wasn't far, about 20 minutes away in the next town over. Her reflection stared back at her in the rearview mirror, and she remembered what she always told Lily, we may not have much, but we have our honesty. That's worth more than gold. She made a decision. The GPS guided her to an upscale neighborhood where the homes had long driveways and flower beds that looked like they belonged in magazines. Her Civic looked wildly out of place next to the rows of luxury cars, but she didn't care. She parked on the side and walked up to the door. An older man answered. Yes, he asked, eyeing her suspiciously. I'm sorry to bother you, Elena said softly. I found this wallet in a parking lot. The ID says this is the address. I just wanted to return it. The man blinked, clearly surprised. James? Someone's here about your wallet. A few moments later, James Whitaker came to the door. He was younger than she'd expected, maybe mid-20s. Tall, dressed in casual clothes, and wearing an expression of disbelief. You found this? Elena nodded. Yes. I didn't touch anything. I thought you'd want it back. He opened the wallet and quickly scanned through the contents. Everything was there. The cash. The cards. Nothing missing. You didn't take anything? He asked. No, she said firmly, though not defensively. It didn't belong to me. There was a long pause. Then, to her shock, James smiled and said, "Thank you. That means more to me than you could imagine." He offered her a reward, $500, but Elena gently shook her head. "I didn't do it for money." She turned and walked away. What Elena didn't know was that James Whitaker wasn't just a young man from a wealthy family. He was a self-made tech entrepreneur, recently featured in Forbes for a company he started from his dorm room that had just been valued at over $50 million. He had grown up watching his mother struggle, and he recognized the quiet strength in Elena's eyes. That night, James couldn't stop thinking about her. About the honesty in her voice. The humility. The fact that she could have taken the money and walked away, and yet, she didn't. He looked up the diner from her car's bumper sticker and found her. Over the next few weeks, James visited the diner more than once, always sitting in her section. He asked questions, gently, respectfully. He learned about Lily. About Elena's dreams. Her hardships. Her resilience. She never complained. Never played the victim. She just worked hard, smiled through the pain, and lived every day for her daughter. One morning, James showed up again. This time, he asked her if she had a moment to talk outside. He handed her an envelope. "This is not charity," he said, anticipating her protest. "It's a gift. An investment, really. You once dreamed of becoming a teacher. I want to help make that dream come true." Inside the envelope was a check. Enough to pay for tuition, books, and daycare for Lily. Enough to give her a fresh start. Elena's eyes welled with tears. Why would you do this for me?" James smiled. "Because one rainy day, you reminded me what integrity looks like. And the world needs more people like you teaching the next generation." Years later, Elena stood at the front of a classroom, chalk in hand, laughter in the air. Lily was now a teenager, beaming with pride. And James? He remained a quiet guardian angel, never asking for recognition, never claiming credit. He just believed in doing the right thing. Because sometimes, one act of honesty can change a life. And sometimes, it changes two.